This episode of an Era interview experience is brought to you by Eras and Essentials, home kit of pre-industrialized farmers. As you may know, Eras and Essentials is a long-time partner of this show that provides a multitude of kits and different events in time. This kit is a one-of-a-kind experience that allows you to explore the world that many Argans farmers endured. It includes a pitchfork, a variety of crops, a loom operated by humans, and a family of 7. You can experience how artisans and farmers were the dominant jobs in Americas prior to the Industrial Revolution, how they lived in small towns and villages, and even barter and trade for goods you did not have access to. This long for Roaring 20s and Aftermath of 9/11 kits are my favorites. So go check them out. Use code underdeveloped. That's UNDERDEVELOPED. And it's 20% off. My name's Elliot, and welcome to the episodes of an Era podcast.
Area Interview Podcast. Check it out.
The Era Interview Experience.
Train by day, Era Interview Podcast by night. All day. I hate
My next guest on the podcast is Danny, the immigrant worker. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I originally lived in Europe, and then I had to move to America because down in Europe I could not provide for my families.
Could you tell me a little bit more about what Europe was like?
It was almost like really poor down there, and there was a lot less urbanization down there, and there just wasn't great jobs that could provide for my family.
Could you tell me a little bit about like the homes and urbanization compared to over here?
The houses were a lot smaller and a lot less like durable.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, was there any differences from like jobs or living conditions from over here? Was there like more wages over here compared to Europe?
The jobs, I have a lot more opportunities here, mostly in factories, and in Europe it was mostly agriculture, so farms.
What was your wages looking like in Europe? Because I know there's very much difference compared to over here to there.
I get paid more here, but it's still not that great of pay. But I still can't really provide for my family, but it's better now.
Wow, I really enjoyed our conversation. I hope we can continue this more later on. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Our next guest on the podcast is none other than Karl Marx, the founder of socialism. Come on in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hey, how's it going, folks? Okay,
Hi.
nice.
So, could you tell us a little bit more about the conditions in the factory due to Marxism?
Due to Marxism, I'll get to that later. But conditions in the factories, I think we need to cover this because of the Industrial Revolution, conditions in the factories are in an all-time low. Quality of life, it's really bad stuff. They're like monotonous tasks. They're broken down to like simple tasks, and they're working like 10 to 12 hour shifts with like not fair wages. And so these are the causes of the labor strikes, and I'm all for that because these are in favor of the people. And so I think we need to tie that in with Marxism because Marxism, or as you know, communism and or socialism, is founded by me, but it's for the people, and it presents a classless society, and it's where the workers, they own everything. They own like the land. There's no private property, but everybody owns everything, and that's just like really great because there will be no oppression, there will be no struggle, there will be no inequality. So yeah.
All right, fascinating. So, what would you say is one of the causes of the recent uprisings and labor strikes and unions in these factories due to conditions?
Due to conditions, what caused them? Yeah, it's the quality of life, as I said before.
All right, fantastic. That is all the time that we have due to our next guest coming on. Thank you, Karl Marx.
Absolutely.
Our final guest on the podcast today is none other than William Wordsworth. Welcome.
Hey, I guess I should introduce myself. So, I am actually a poet who lived before and during the Industrial Revolution. So, yeah, I have some thoughts on it. So,
Would you share with one of those thoughts on the Industrial Revolution with us?
yeah. So I believe that um, industrialization is like overall bad. There are some good qualities, like sure stuff is like produced a lot cheaper, but I just really think that nature is suffering as a part of the Industrial Revolution. I believe that nature is like really a divine source of like education and whatnot. So
Now, I heard that you had a poem, The World is Too Much with Us. Could you tell us more about that poem, please?
yeah, I think that okay. So I wrote the poem in in spite of the Industrial Revolution because really it's about the industrialized, the materialistic world is too much with us. It's too concentrated. It's too, too rampant. And because nature, is just like it's our teacher. We are the student, and nature is our teacher. And because the Industrial Revolution is affecting nature, we should really stop that.
All right, amazing. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. We really enjoyed your presence.
Yeah.
In conclusion, we've decided that although the Industrial Revolution had many negative effects, the economic, subjective well being, improved wages, and work environment impact greatly outweighed the negative effect of the Industrial Revolution. This has been it for the Era Interviews. Thank you for watching.